Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm back again today. Completely different series, yeah. I know, the whole YouTube analytics, you could stick to one thing and then over time the YouTube knows the page, whatever. I want to do my thing. I'm alright sitting here, sitting in the small corner of the YouTube, kind of, I guess the YouTube system, just sitting here in my very small corner shouting at the wall. But that's completely fine with me. So, this is going to be a new series. This is basically just going to be me talking about different fitness news, different fitness articles, newsletters and stuff. And this is admittedly the 96th time I've filmed this, just because I'm kind of figuring out how I want to structure these videos. And also because one of the lights in here exploded earlier. So I am kind of hoping that I'm not going to die. But other than that, it's all good. So yeah, as I said, this basically started off because me and my mates have this basically big group chat and we send stuff to each other, stuff that we think stupid, funny, interesting, all about fitness, all about different, as I said, news, articles, different stuff. So I figured, why not make a series about it? Why not start talking about it? People might find it interesting, might be able to engage, and you guys hopefully will learn some stuff from it. And yeah, I figured I can kind of look through some of the information, look through articles and stuff that I think is interesting, stuff they might send me, and I'll kind of put it to you guys and see what you think. I can look at it obviously through the lens of look through the lens of my training as a personal trainer, so that gives me some information behind what they're talking about. Sorry, that's not the right way of putting it. Gives me the knowledge to look at their information and basically decide whether it's good, whether it's rubbish, how you would implement it, or fit it into your lifestyle or whatever you're doing, and just whether it's interesting really. Because there's a lot of stuff going around at the moment, so I figured I'd start. Admittedly, this isn't really one of the things that's been going around at the moment. Just one of my mates sent it to me, and I was like, actually, that's really interesting. I've started a YouTube channel recently. I'm going to talk about it. Boom. So this was basically the thing that caught my eye, and it's done by Forbes. So it's like a news kind of website. And basically, this journalist was talking to an app company about whether, wait for it, AI-driven fitness making gyms obsolete. Now, this is interesting. I read through this entire article. It took me quite a while because there was a lot of words. Not very good with the words. I'm joking. But I picked out basically the bits that I want to talk about, bits that I think were really interesting. And I do think this is an interesting topic, so let's jump right in. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that the first thing they talk about is this study, which was apparently recent, where they took 2,000 Americans and they talked to them about, obviously because now we're in lockdown and gyms were closed for a big period of time, so everyone kind of moved to training indoors, so this was kind of the perfect time for this to do all this. So they talked to them and said, do you think you're going to renew your gym memberships? Do you think you'll be going back? Or do you think, screw that, I've got everything sorted now, I don't need to do that, I can literally walk downstairs in my boxers after waking up in the morning and just do my workout and done, can't really do that in the gym, because you'd get thrown out and probably banned. So, stop it, Siri. Sorry, I'm using my iPad, and for some reason, whenever you start talking, doesn't matter whether you say Siri or not, it just turns on. Siri she just pops up and like, hey, what's up? I'm like, no, chill out, go away. So the first thing to talk about is the fact that it's a very small group of people in this first study. 2,000 people is not a lot, especially when you take into consideration how many people there are in America. Loads, millions. So it's not a lot of people. So the first thing we want to talk about was this, and I thought it was quite interesting. So it says here, 56% of people actually don't plan to buy back into their gym memberships after the current health crisis. And a staggering 80% of men are exercising more without access to the gyms than before COVID-19. According to data from Freeletics, which is the app that they were basically talking to in this, an IA-based fitness app with 47 million users in over 160 countries. Now, this next one, this is quite a bit bigger because now they're talking about 47 million rather than their original 2,000, which is obviously a massive jump up. But Freeletics is basically this app, and You know, it gives you all these workouts and things, and it effectively helps you do workouts with either limited equipment, no equipment, or you can kind of put in what you're doing, what you want to achieve, what you've got to use, and that type of thing. So let's have a look. Let's just analyse this for a second on what could be bad or good about this information. For those of us that love the gym, as long as our gyms don't close, this could be amazing. Could you imagine going in and there only being half the amount of people that there usually are in the gym? Oh my god! Whew, you'd be able to get to the squat rack, because in our gym there's only 2, and there's always one guy who is bicep curling in the squat rack, and it's completely unnecessary when you could go and do it over there. So, big plus. Negative. There would only be half the amount of people going, so gyms could struggle. Gym personnel, gym workers, PTs, and that could struggle if they're just gym based, especially PTs. Because obviously some PTs PT online, but that's something I'm going to talk about in a sec. So there's some good and there's some bad to it. Now the thing to consider is, eventually, will AIs and will AIs, that's a whole discussion of whether will AIs, computers, technology basically take over every job in the future. In my opinion, yeah, probably at some point most jobs will be done by machines. But do we think, basically, that gyms will close? Do we think that all gyms will close? I don't think they would. No, not in a shadow of a doubt. I don't think they would at all. That's probably not the right way of saying that, but in my opinion, I think that when you're doing calisthenics and stuff like that, you do get to a point where you reach your limit. You reach your limit to the point where, your body can do 250 push-ups and it doesn't feel very tired after doing them because you've done it for so long. And unless you want to be doing 3-4 hours working out each day to get to the point where muscle breakdown and all that really, really happens, you're going to want to start going to the gym and start adding weight to your exercises or doing slightly different exercises like the bench press to A, trick your muscles, and give them a different stimulus, and B, just to overload much easier, and save time. So that's a massive thing. And 2, also, I get it. It's, of course, how good is it to wake up and just be able to go downstairs and train? Rather than having to put on your gym stuff, you have to drive all the way to the gym's half hour away, you've got traffic, it's pain. But there's, I just can't see gyms closing. So yeah, that's my opinion on that first bit. A lot of people are saying they won't renew their memberships, which could make some gyms struggle. But I don't think a lot of gyms will close because I think that they're too important, especially for people that want to be training in specific things, like some people who want to train in powerlifting or, whatever. You're going to need gym, you're going to need big weights. So no, not all gyms will close. I just think maybe some gyms might struggle, especially if a lot of their people don't come back quite quickly after them being closed for such a long period of time and they don't make any money. Okay, so the second thing to look at, and by the way, I'm using this to have a look at some of the stuff I wrote down earlier. I didn't write it down, I'm looking at the website. But so the next thing to look at was a lot of people were talking about how they felt in the gym, how they felt before they went in, and this was quite interesting. So it says here that it's important, obviously. Physical activity is critical to fitness and well-being, naturally, but how you feel about your fitness, options, routines is possibly even more important, since it will determine whether or not you continue or even start. Now, of course, feeling like you're comfortable, if you're going into the gym, you should feel comfortable, safe. You don't want to go there, basically. And I know some people do, and they feel like people are judging them, watching them. They feel like they don't want to try exercises because they'll look silly doing them. But we all started from there. The first time we went to the gym, we didn't just start bench pressing and our form was perfect and we built like a super thick, mega shelf chest. It takes years and years and years to develop stuff like that. And also, you know, if you are someone who is unlucky, because I don't think it really happens as much as people think, if you are unlucky and you do go to a gym where people take the pee out of you, just remember that they are the worst people, because not only are they taking the pee out of, you know, people that are new, they were there themselves once, so they're just really, really horrible people, and they should just be banned from the gym. But on the whole, I really don't think it happens that much. So I just think maybe some people in this study maybe haven't been to the gym before anyway, or maybe quite a few of them weren't already in the gym, so, or maybe had preconceptions about the gym before they went. So maybe if this is the case, they actually don't really have a very good, they don't really have a very good, I guess, conception of what the gym is like. So therefore, obviously, when they ask them these questions of, you know, do you feel more comfortable being at home? You know, do you feel more comfortable, you know, doing, you know, your stuff online with the AI and that? They're going to say yeah, because they haven't been to a gym before, they don't know how it works, they don't know whether they fit in, so they'd be worried about it. So that's something to consider as well. So this next bit was quite interesting. So this was talking about their three major kind of points as to what the AI can do, and what it kind of can do for people. So this first one was predict what exercises you'll be able to do and what to do based on first getting a short profile from you and then comparing it to Freeletics over their 50 million users base. So effectively what they do is they get you to write out like a little thing, they look and they compare it against 50 million other people's profiles and then kind of pick this guy matches this guy in what he wants to do, what he wants to achieve, and then kind of gives you, I presume, like a similar profile and a similar exercise routine to this person. But the problem with that is not everyone's the same. And everyone has their own little unique things, like, you know, I might have a slightly dodgy knee or slightly dodgy wrist, and I'm sure you can probably implement that into the system, into this AI in some way, but it's not the same as being able to go to a PT or talking to a PT online and being able to say, you know, oh, I've got this, and this problem, I want to achieve this, and then being able to write out a very, very, very specific plan for you and personalised plan. So that's my first problem with it, is that it's, yeah, 50 million people's a lot, so that's a massive amount of people, and I'm sure that there's slight variations for each one, but they're not going to be as specific as they probably need to be for each individual. So that was the first thing. So the second thing, it says, obviously, creates workouts, sets of exercises, while learning how you react and what your results get. So obviously that's quite good. That's putting in your results. It tells you, you know, you've got 5 sets of lunges for 10 reps or whatever. You smash that out, you say that was too easy, it gives you something that's harder. Yeah, that's good and that's fine. You know, a PT be able to do the same thing. They'll be able to look at what you're doing, be able to say you need to work harder at this, or you need to add more weight, or you need to do this, that and the other to make it easier or harder. So that's fine. And the third thing it says is it adjusts the workout based on the availability of the equipment, because you probably have less gear at home than you do in a gym. Now this is true. You probably, you know, unless you're someone who genuinely has a huge home gym, in which case I am very jealous. I would most gym guys would love to have their own gym and have their own squat rack straight to themselves with no one bicep curling in it whatsoever. I'm still very annoyed about this person who was bicep curling in the squat rack. Yeah, you're probably going to have a lot less equipment. But at the same time, that also means you're going to have a lot less variation. So you might get to a point where you're bored of doing Freeletics, in which case, if you've cancelled your gym membership, you're going to have to go through the whole process of like redoing it, and it's a whole mess. Which is another thing to think about, you know, because you want to be, you want to be interested in the exercise you're doing. And if you find that you don't have as many variations and you don't have as much stuff to do, you may very well get bored of what you're doing. Whether that's, you know, in 3, 6 months to a year's time, you may get to the point where I'm like, dude, the push-ups and the planches and, I don't know, whatever kind of other calisthenics you're doing, pull-ups, are boring. In which case you might want to go back to a gym. So That's another reason why I think gyms will stay open, is I think people will probably get bored at some stage of doing calisthenics, or like very minimal weight workouts. So the last thing, which I thought was quite interesting, this was quite a big part of it, was, are AIs better than PTs? This was a whole kind of topic conversation. They looked at what different people thought and they said things like, obviously PTs are more expensive than apps, and apps are going to be able to do this, that and the other, and PTs won't, but then PTs are there like if you need a spot on a bench and stuff. So there was some good for and some good against. I'm just going to give my personal opinion on the argument, which is, the good side of AIs is that obviously it's an app. You can do it at home. You don't have to drive to the gym. You can get a reasonably good workout in. Usually you can get it done in a good short time. Having something like an app which sets it all out for you, gives you the rest periods, gives you the reps, gives you the sets, can be quite good if you, as I said, if you want a quick workout, if you don't want to have to put the effort into thinking about what you're doing. The downside is it's not going to be as personalised as most people need when they get so far in their training, because that might work if you're new. That might work for you for like a year, 2 years, but you'll get to a point, as I said, where the amount of calisthenics you're doing is taking up more and more time, because you need to do more and more of the exercise, or slow the exercises down, or you don't have the weights at home to make the exercises harder, so you can complete your workout quicker. Also, as I said also a lot, that's weird. People might get bored. They might get bored doing calisthenics, in which case people will want to go to the gym because it gives them more variety, more option to keep their workouts interesting. Now, the benefits of a personal trainer is that, they're going to be able to make it extremely personalised to you. They'll be able to check your form, so they'll be checking your form from the front, from the back to the side, and making sure you're doing all the exercises properly, safely. And also, you have that level of, I guess you'd call it, I've forgotten the word for it now. I guess you have that level of like, I need to do this because I paid for the personal trainer. And, and they're part of like, I don't want to let this guy down because he's put his time and effort into writing me a program, or this woman, and I don't want to let that person down because I'm lazy, because I don't want to do it today. So it gives you that extra level of like, I have to go, not have to, but I really want to go and do this workout, whereas the app doesn't. Obviously the downside to personal trainer is they are more expensive, because they are, taking time out of their day, and time is basically what we pay for with anybody. More time it takes a builder to build a house, the more you have to pay them, the more stuff they have to use and that type of thing. So it's kind of similar, you're paying a personal trainer for their time to be with you, and not only their time to be with you, but their time to sit outside of the gym when they're not with you, to write out your programs, to look at your progression, to look at where we need to take you next, to look at like what you need to do afterwards, and all this stuff. And sometimes it can be more than that. Sometimes it can be writing out like good cues and stuff for you that might work with each individual person to help them with an exercise and how we can get around certain things. So there's a lot to it with a personal trainer. If you're doing if you're doing it with a personal trainer who's in a gym, someone who you meet up with once a week, twice a week. So they are more expensive, but in my opinion, if you can afford it, obviously, they're well worth your money. Not necessarily forever. It's not usually forever. You might have a personal trainer for a year or 6 months, and you might learn what you need to, and then you can move on from them. But yeah, I still think I definitely think the personal trainers are going to be much better than the AIs when you weigh up the pros and cons. So that was everything I wanted to talk about from this article today. I thought it was quite interesting. I mean, naturally, I'm sure at some point they'll invent a personal training robot that can literally do everything, and then we'll be completely out of business. But I'm sure that would be the same for everybody. But, for now, I definitely think personal trainers are above. I don't think gyms will close. I don't think gyms will become obsolete. But yeah, no, I just thought it was a really good discussion. I am 100% really excited to hear what you guys think about it in the comments. Please 100% leave your comments. Let me know what you think, what you thought was interesting, what you thought wasn't interesting, whether you think gyms will close, whether you think gyms will become obsolete, personal trainers and things like that. And, how far down the future do you think that the Terminator will happen? I still bet 45 years. Anyway, so with that said, I hope you guys have a really nice day. I really enjoyed doing this video, so I hope that you guys really enjoyed it. And yeah, see you later.